heard of Catherine of Aragon, the famous first wife of Henry VIII? Of course, you have, but what about her sister, Maria of Aragon? History often has a strange way of remembering some figures while others fade into the background. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of Portugal's most influential but often overlooked queens. This is the story of Maria of Aragon, the woman who stood beside King Manuel I during Portugal's Golden Age. Born in 1482 Pulgadas, Córdoba, Spain, Maria was the fourth child of the legendary Catholic monarchs, Isabella, the first of Castile, and Ferdinand II of Aragon. Imagine growing up in that household. Her siblings were destined for greatness. Isabella, who became Queen of Portugal before her. John, the ill-fated heir to the Spanish thrones. Juana, known as the Mad, who inherited it all. And Catherine, the future Queen of England. Maria was part of a master plan, a web of strategic marriages designed to secure Spain's power and influence across Europe. Her path to the Portuguese throne was paved with tragedy. Her older sister, Isabella, was the first wife of King Manuel I of Portugal. Their marriage was a crucial political alliance, but it was cut short when Isabella died in childbirth. Devastated but determined to maintain the vital connection with Spain, Manuel sought another bride from the same powerful family. His choice fell upon Maria. The marriage contract was signed in 1500, and Maria arrived in Portugal to become its new queen. It's easy to see this as just another political transaction, a princess being moved like a chess piece. But Maria's story is so much more than that. She wasn't just a replacement, she was a queen in her own right, and she would leave a lasting mark on her adopted homeland. Stepping into her deceased sister's shoes must have been incredibly daunting. But Maria faced the challenge with the grace and determination she was raised with. Upon her marriage to Manuel I, Maria of Aragon stepped into a court at the peak of its power. This was Portugal's age of discovery. Ships were returning from India laden with spices, explorers were charting new territories, and Lisbon was transforming into one of the wealthiest cities in the world. Manuel I, known as the Fortunate, presided over this explosion of wealth and culture, and right by his side was Queen Maria. Their marriage was remarkably fruitful. Over 17 years, Maria gave birth to 10 children, 8 of whom survived into adulthood. This was her most critical duty as queen, to secure the succession, and she fulfilled it spectacularly. Her eldest son would become the future King John III of Portugal, continuing the House of Aragon. Another of her children, Isabella of Portugal, would go on to marry the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, becoming one of the most powerful women in Europe. Through her children, Maria's influence would stretch across the continent for generations. But Maria was more than just a mother to future rulers. She was a devout and highly educated woman, deeply influenced by her mother, Isabella of Castile. She brought with her the refined cultural and religious sensibilities of the Spanish court. She was a significant patron of the arts, religious institutions, and charities. She founded convents and supported hospitals. demonstrating a commitment to the spiritual and physical well-being of her people. Unlike some queens who remained in the shadows, Maria was an active participant in court life. She had a close and reportedly affectionate relationship with Manuel, while he was the swashbuckling king overseeing a global empire. She was the steady, dignified heart of the royal family. She managed a vast royal household and played a crucial role in the education of her children, ensuring they were prepared for their significant roles in the European political landscape. She was the anchor that stabilized the dynasty during a period of immense and rapid change. One of the most complex and controversial aspects of Maria and Manuel's reign was their religious policy, following the precedent set by her parents in Spain. They implemented a policy that forced the conversion or expulsion of Jews and Muslims in Portugal. In 1497, just before their marriage, Manuel had issued an edict, while Maria arrived after this initial decree. Her deep piety and background undoubtedly supported and reinforced this hardline stance. This policy led to the creation of new Christians, or conversos, Jews who had converted to Christianity, often under duress. These communities were perpetually under suspicion, culminating in the horrific Lisbon massacre of 1506 during a time of plague and drought fueled by religious fervor. A mob rampaged through the city for 3 days, targeting and brutally murdering thousands of new Christians. While King Manuel was out of the city at the time, he reacted with fury upon hearing the news. He ordered severe punishments for the ringleaders of the massacre, demonstrating that the violence was not state-sanctioned mob rule. However, the event casts a dark shadow over their reign. It highlights the intense religious intolerance of the era, a climate that Maria, as a product of the Spanish Reconquista, was very much a part of. It's a difficult part of her story, reminding us that historical figures are complex and must be understood within the context of their time. No matter how unsettling we find their actions today, despite this dark chapter, Maria's legacy is primarily one of stability and cultural enrichment. Her influence can be seen in the architectural style that flourished under her husband's reign, the Manueline style. This uniquely Portuguese late Gothic style is incredibly ornate, incorporating maritime elements like ropes, shells, and armillary spheres, celebrating the Age of Discovery. While Manuel gets the credit, Maria's patronage of religious buildings, where this style is most prominent, was essential. She helped fund and oversee the construction of parts of the magnificent Jerónimos Monastery in Lisbon, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the ultimate expression of Manueline art. She was also a key figure in the cultural life of the court. She promoted literature and learning, continuing the tradition of learned queens established by her mother. The Portuguese court under Manuel and Maria was a vibrant center of humanism, attracting scholars, poets, and artists. Maria helped create an environment where culture could thrive alongside commerce and exploration. She was, in every sense, the matriarch of Portugal's golden age. She wasn't just the king's wife. She was his partner in shaping a nation at the zenith of its power. After 17 years as queen and giving birth to 10 children, Maria of Aragon's life came to an end in 1517. She died at the age of just 34, likely from complications related to her frequent pregnancies. Her death was a great loss for King Manuel and for Portugal. She had been the stable, consistent presence at the heart of the court for nearly 2 decades. King Manuel, once again a widower, would go on to marry a third time to Eleanor of Austria, who was actually Maria's own niece. Such were the tangled webs of European royal families. So why is Maria of Aragon the forgotten queen? Several factors are at play. First, she was sandwiched between 2 other queens in Manuel's life. Second, her story is often overshadowed by her more famous siblings, particularly Catherine of Aragon, whose dramatic marital saga with Henry VIII became a major European event. Finally, history tends to focus on the kings and explorers of the Age of Discovery, the men of action, often relegating the queens who managed the home front to the footnotes. But Maria's contributions were profound. She secured the royal succession, creating a dynasty whose influence would span Europe. She was a major patron of art and religion, helping to define the cultural and spiritual landscape of Portugal's golden age. She was the bridge between the 2 great Iberian powers, Spain and Portugal, maintaining a crucial alliance through family ties. She embodied the ideal of a Renaissance queen, pious, fertile, educated, and a patron of culture. By remembering Maria of Aragon, we get a more complete picture of 16th century Portugal. We see that behind the grand voyages and political maneuvering, there were powerful women shaping the future of nations from within the palace walls. She may not have sailed the oceans, but she was the anchor of the empire. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey to uncover the life of Maria of Aragon. It's a reminder that history is full of incredible stories waiting to be told. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more dives into the hidden corners of history. Let us know in the comments which other forgotten figures you'd like to learn about. See you next time.